Willow Creek Springs presents Healthy Living with your host, Joe Grumbine.
Hello, welcome back to the Healthy Living Podcast. This is part 2 of the interview with Daniel John, DJ for short. So where I left off, I had done combo and I started just purging things out of my life. I had over 100 pounds of keef that I was extracting and doing stuff with. It'd been sitting there for almost a year, and all the people connected to it were toxic. And I wasn't doing that anymore. And I composted it. 100 pounds of keef and bags and bags of cannabis that I just wasn't doing anything with. I still make my medicine with it, but the people that were all connected to this were just not serving me. And I just literally said, it's going. My wife was like, whoa, what are you doing? I'm like, it's going. She was happy to see it go because it was just taking up space. And I had a warehouse and an office. I says, I'm letting it go. I'm moving back home. My business wasn't doing well enough to support it. And I just said, boom, it's going. I mean, I just was making these just giant cuts, and any relationship that wasn't whole and wholesome, I just let go. I didn't terminate it. I just stopped engaging it. I just didn't have anything to give to it. And all of a sudden, all this energy comes to me, and this clarity, and this new people, new opportunities. It was like, whoa. And so with combo, the optimum way to do it is 3 sessions within 3 months, or 3 sessions within 6 months. So I did that progressively. And then Florida came and we did our first peyote ceremony. So this is now, I'm aware that I have this cancer, but I don't know. So when we do these things, I do an intention, a prayer, and that's the purpose of this all night long ceremony. And my initial purpose was to get the information I needed. And then subsequently, we've done 2 more. The second one I did was for clarity. And the third one, and then I started getting all this information. I'm starting to get clarity. And then the last one was for discernment, so that I knew which things to choose. And it's been an incredible experience. But through all that, I did a Bufo session, and Bufo is toad medicine. And
Yes.
And it's 5-MeO DMT, which I'm familiar with. I've made it, used it. Goes right to the pineal gland. It's powerful, powerful medicine. But this thing, whoa. It took me.
Did you know Kurt? He hung out at my booth kind of towards the end. He was an MMA fighter from Anacortes.
It sounds familiar.
I might have, but just to throw in there, his son passed away. He found his body too, so he had the stuff to deal with. He ended up, he's a shaman in the tribe now down Baja way. There's a tribe down there.
Okay.
And he's working with them and the toad venom and
yeah. Well, it was wild. So going through this experience, I was preparing for this, and I was transplanting some plants. That's my meditation. I transplant plants. You know the deal. It's like taking clones. You just get into your zone. And while I was sitting in this place preparing to do this session, which I had never experienced before, but I don't have fear. I don't live a life of fear, as you know. I never have. And I got this message. It said, well, what are you willing to do for this? And I was like, whoa. And it was clear as day. And I just, without blinking, said, whatever it takes. And I need to solve this problem, and I'm going to do what it takes. And so I take this gigantic hero's hit and hit it until you're going to explode. And next thing you know, boom, the white circle, and then poof, I'm hearing breathe. And some time had passed, and my memory was being in this room of light, making a contract of sorts. And I made an agreement in this place that I was at. I don't remember the details of it, but I'm pretty confident what I did.
Committed.
And, yeah, I sealed the deal. I said, okay, but as I was coming back, I started weeping and just was so joyous. I've never had a more joyous experience in my life. I was just like, whoa, this is just, and I didn't realize it. Well, and then in a moment, I was, sort of coming back, and I I saw this vision, and I saw the end. I saw that I had solved this problem. And so I said, "Oh, I've healed myself. I just need to finish the walk on the physical place." So I created the place for what is happening to happen, and I saw that it will happen. It's done. But when things happen in a place like that, it doesn't mean they're necessarily, you still have choices to make. You can still screw everything up at any given moment. And so, but I knew the path was clear, and and I knew how to take it. And it was such a powerful experience. I didn't realize it. Like, this all happened in a second. Like, there was no time that had passed. And I later on, my wife comes down. There were some other people that were there, and apparently I was just screaming and writhing on the ground while I was in this place. And this guy was like, "Is he okay? Is he okay?" And she's like, "What was he doing?" She goes, "He was screaming." And he goes, "That's just a warrior cry. He's all right." And I don't remember any of that part of it. I was pretty sandy when I was done, but other than that, it was. And subsequently, it took a few days to really get the full effect of it. But what had happened, that joy that came, I literally had lost everything that was holding me back, all the anger, all the hurt, all the betrayals that stuck in me, the grudges, the everything. It was gone. It just was wiped clean. And I even things that really bothered me, really, like, I could forgive, but I couldn't forget. I tried to look at them, and they were just fuzzy. And it literally was, it's gone. And I got if there's a clean slate, I got a clean slate. And what it did was it gave me that focus. There's all those things, they're all distractions. Everything that bothers you, everything that angers you, everything that irritates you, everything that frustrates you, they're all just frustration, or they're all distractions. And as that was gone, all of a sudden my clarity started just getting more and more, and these answers start coming to me. So in my research, I'm really focusing on diet, and this ketogenic diet, and I stumble upon this word called methionine.
Mm-hmm.
And I read this article called Cancer's Addiction to Methionine. And I start looking into that. I'm like, holy shit, this is big. And methionine is a basic amino acid. It's a precursor to others. It's in everything. And as I continued to research, I found this enzyme methionase. And I'm like, whoa, there's an enzyme. I can block this thing out. Maybe there's an answer. Well, thought I could buy it on Amazon, or, just order it. No. It turns out there's one guy who makes it, and his name's Dr. Hoffman, Dr. Robert Hoffman. And it turns out if you look up this information, 80% of the published works from 1971 till today, this is the guy that's behind most of the research. And I sent him an email that says, "I'd like to get some of this methionase." He sends me back an email, says, "Give me a call." I give him a call. He's like, "Tell me what's up." And I told him. He says, "Okay, we need to get you going on this. I'll send you all the information. You need to talk to this other Dr. Castro. He does genetic work. He'll tell you some stuff." And he says, "We have this meeting, a call every Sunday at 4 o'clock. I'd love to have you join us." And so I'm like, okay. And when you get clarity, your intuition turns on clearer, and you don't second guess yourself the way that at least I always did. And I'd get a feeling. I'm like, nah. I get all bad feelings all the time, right? But now it's like, no, I'm just like, you need to go here. This is a thing. You need to learn this and do this. And so I get on this call, and there's about 20, 30 people from around the world who have been on a low methionine diet and working with this methionine enzyme. And there's miracle stories, people that were, terminal 4 years ago, still walking around, people that have had, tumors reduced to zero, just one after another. And it's not just that it's this one thing. There's no one silver bullet. Everybody thinks there's this one silver bullet. Well, there might be for you, but not in general. Every cancer is unique. Every one, it's infinite. Every single one is its own thing. And the answer that worked for me may or may not work for you. And the cannabis that's helped so many people, I go meet Dr. Castro. Well, it turns out this thing's caused by the HPV virus, which is the good news because it's 95% cure rate. If it was caused by bad choices, which most of them are, it has about a 45% cure rate. And so I says, all right, I got the luck of the draw. I've got this thing. So I go see this Dr. Castro. He looks through my chart, looks at my blood work. I tell him all the things I'm doing. I'm now in month 3 of my cannabis oil. He says, you better stop taking that cannabis oil. He says, because your cancer, the cannabis oil masks, it turns these switches off that cause your immune system not to see it. So whatever you're going to try to do isn't going to work because this is blocking it. I said, son of a bitch. I broke my heart. I did many episodes on my love affair with cannabis and the broken heart. And it turned out it wasn't for me. All the people I've helped, and I've even taken, skin things off of my own, I just watched miracles happen, but not for me. And
well, for this particular situation with you.
Exactly. Oh, it does lots of good things for me, and it still does, but not this.
Right.
And so through this process, Dr. Hoffman is an advocate of combination therapies. So I had in my mind radiation, chemo, bad, no matter what. It's just bad. There's no application where I would say I want this. Well, you go to the radiation doctor, and he says, you don't want surgery because you're going to be disfigured. If they take that thing out of you, you're going to have a big hole where that thing was. And, so what we want to do is we want to give you radiation and chemo, and it'll hurt you pretty bad, but you'll survive it probably. And there'll be more of you left. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So now I'm researching radiation. I don't want anything to do with radiation. I still don't want anything to do with radiation. And so, but I said, whatever it takes. So I'm going, okay, let's keep going. I'm just exploring. Every doctor's giving me good advice and bad advice. So I'm like, okay, I'm just now looking at a collective body of work. And there's this Dr. Exame that's on this group who was 4 years ago diagnosed terminal. And through the things he's doing, he's still doing it. And so I'm listening to him. I start learning about radiation and chemo. What is it? What are these things? Well, they're oxidative therapies. And they basically bombard with oxidation. That's what causes the cell death. And so you go, okay, well, what else is oxidative therapies? And it turns out, I can take a lot of oxygen, and I can take food grade peroxide. I can take ozone. I can take chlorine dioxide. There's all these ways to get oxygen, exercise, good healthy diet, all these things. You can really oxygenate yourself. Turns out cancer doesn't like oxygen. So now I'm learning about cancer, what it wants and what it doesn't want, what it does and what it doesn't do. Getting to know this thing that is me but isn't me. It's me, but it's broken. It doesn't
Right.
act like healthy cells.
It doesn't know how to stop.
Right, exactly. And it doesn't want to stop. And so it turns out that it doesn't like warmth and it doesn't like oxygen. So guess what? I'm going to give it lots of warmth and lots of oxygen. And so that's my sort of preliminary strategy. And it turns out that all of the radiation and chemo, it's this highly oxidative therapy. So when you combine it with these oxidation treatments, it supercharges it, makes it work better. Okay. So that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is when you take methionine out of your diet as much as you can, and then you take this enzyme to pull it out of your bloodstream, it's really the methionine that causes the cancer to be able to do the processes that allow it to replicate. So everybody thinks that sugar and all of that, well, that's all bullshit. It's not bullshit, but it is not complete because cancer can eat anything. It can eat whatever you can eat. So if you go into ketosis, well, fine, it'll eat ketones.
Does sugar affect methionine levels?
No, methionine is really protein derived.
Protein, got it.
It's an amino acid.
All right.
So it turns out I was eating all this meat and good quality meat and fish and a lot of sardines and doing it all right, good quality everything. But I was eating lots of it. Well, all I was doing was telling that cancer, go ahead, replicate, because whatever it is you're eating, you have the tools to replicate. Now you start with taking the methionine out, and it doesn't matter what you eat. I can eat fruit all day long now, but no methionine, and it's getting smaller by the minute. This is truth. This is a truth I've discovered. And
what are there foods that are high in methionine or that cause?
Oh yeah, all protein, all meats, and all. I'm a strict vegan right now. Yeah,
huh.
I hate it. I mean, I love meat and I love eggs and I love that stuff. It brings me joy, and I don't get to eat it right now. And when I'm done, I'll have a cheat day and then fast, and that's a whole thing. Anyways, through all of this, I'm learning about the actual facts, and Dr. Hoffman is been behind a lot of the research and published all these papers, but medical science isn't interested. When I bring this to the doctors, they're looking at me like, yeah, whatever. We know what we know. We don't know that, and they're not interested at all. They don't want to hear it. And with him, just like when you know something and not everybody knows, you get pushed away. Nobody wants to embrace a new thing. And so he's been, not invited to all the symposiums and all this, and yet he's published, most of the. He comes on my podcast every week. We talk about science and my progress and all this stuff. Anyways, fast forward, I was still all I had. Then I talked to the chemo doctor, and she was in link with the radiation doctor. She says, "This is what we got to do. We got to do this double-edged sword." And we got to hit you hard with this thing, and that's the only thing that's going to turn this thing around. Well, in bringing all this to, they said, well, you got to get dental clearance before you get radiation. And so I go to the dentist, and the first dentist says, well, we got to pull all your teeth out. I'm like, hell no. So then I go to another dentist, and the other dentist says, well, we got to pull 3 teeth out. Because with radiation, with head and neck cancer, there's no way they can radiate just this. It's not a spot. So radiation is going to get into your bones. It's going to screw it up. And you'll never be able to have dental work after you have radiation. You have to do everything you're going to ever do before you have radiation, if you're going to have radiation. Well, I went to this biological dentist, and she basically gave me this thing. And meanwhile, something told me there's got to be another answer. There's got to be another answer. And so I'm getting hung up. And meanwhile, this thing's getting bigger and bigger with everything I'm doing, even with the methionine restriction. It's still slowing it down, but it's not stopping it. Mm-hmm. And I can tell. I mean, I'm now in a place where I'm interacting with this thing on a cellular level, on an electrical level. And we're arm wrestling. I mean, it was a thing, and I was pushing it back, but it was not an easy push, and I couldn't do it forever. I knew that, and finally, Dr. Hoffman comes up. I'm like, I'm not getting this. It's not getting done, and I need to do something. He says, I got an idea. he says, why don't you go to your chemo doctor and ask her if she would be willing to do a neoadjuvant first line treatment. And what that is it's a precursor. Said, well, let's just shrink it down a little bit, and then we'll go and do your thing. And I said, and we did research, and we came to find there's this drug chemo cocktail that has been successful in the cancer that I have all the way. But I just said, how about we do this first, just so give me some breathing time while I try to get my teeth figured out. She agreed to it. I gave her the drugs. I gave her the cocktail. I said, this is what I want to do. Will you do it? She agreed. Okay, that's when everything started shifting. So I learned at this point now, and now the clarity, this is after the third peyote session, and I'm getting information and separating, getting answers. It's really, I'm in a place now, and nothing else is in my way. All I'm doing is this. And so I come to find out that if you do chemo and you fast for 2 or 3 days prior and 1 day after, you can drastically improve the value of the chemo and drastically reduce the side effects.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so this is all coming from these multiple streams of information, these people that are actually doing it. And I'm like, okay, I think I got a plan. And so then it's like, okay, then I realized, I got to get a port installed because this chemo is bad stuff and it'll blow your veins out. And it turned out and meanwhile, this thing's this thing's now a grapefruit sticking out of me, and it's got another thing sticking out of it. It was starting to weep. It was bad. I got a photo documentation of the whole thing. It was bad. I couldn't go anywhere. I was more or less bedridden at this point. And I'm just giving everything I got to this, giving everything I got. Finally, the last second, the insurance approves the port. I go in and I get the thing. 2 days later, I get this infusion. And then I got to carry around this poison pump for 5 days, literally every minute, pumping poison into me. Brutal, just brutal. But you know what? After about 3 days, I noticed it starting to shrink. And what you're looking at is 4 weeks after I began this chemo session. And when we're all said and done, I'll send you a picture of what it looked like before. 4 weeks. Right now, everybody's blown away. Now we're talking about not necessarily having to do any other therapy. I've got one more session to go, and yeah. And I started sleeping. I couldn't sleep. I wasn't sleeping more than an hour and a half because of the pain. Literally, my skin was stretching to the part where it's been a break. And that was waking me up every hour, hour and a half. It was just brutal, just brutal. And that's where I came to that place of reckoning. It's like, whoa. And now I sleep. The side effects have been minimal. Cannabis came back into my life. Turns out it's really good for nausea and appetite. And I got that moment of, hey, remember me? It came and talked to me. It said, I'm still here for you. And I'm like, oh yeah, that thing that you're so good at. Let's go. And so now when I need it, it's there for me. But it's been this incredible story. And I literally have subscriber episodes now. I got a bunch of subscribers that actually pay to listen to this podcast, and I have detailed the journal. It's really my journal. So when I go back, and if I need to study it, I can go back to where I was, because I told the story as it was happening in real time. So I've captured it all, and I don't do it as often anymore because now I've got other things I'm doing. But when that's all I was doing, just about every day or two, I was updating the journal. And
and you seem to be in a really good place, man.
I am in a wonderful place. Yeah. And this is just only a few days after the chemo. I still got a little chemo drunk in my head right now, but it's I got to tell you, Dan, as crazy as it sounds, this most difficult thing that I've had to go through has been the biggest blessing of my life.
It usually works out that way.
Just incredible. And, it's wild. I've been forged 3 times. The first one was just a divorce. That was a pretty easy one. But second one was the battle with the government, 6 years of anguish and being beat down and forged. This is my third forging. So I feel as I'm starting to cool and sharpen this blade, I'm feeling pretty darn good about it.
You are battle seasoned.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. But it brings perspective to everything. And that's really where that point of view that, really lets the whole landscape take on a different, you can see things from farther back, I think, when you've experienced things like this, the things that people get caught up on and stuck in and mired in and whatever, distracted by, you're like, that's not even a thing.
And I think, like for me, then all that makes sense, and it's the dharma you have to do, but the common denominator is just the ability to be able to appreciate my life.
Yes.
And the things in it.
Yes.
And, like I'll go out in the sun.
Yes.
I'm Northeast Oregon here, and this spring here, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And I feel it on the sun on my skin.
Yes. Yes.
God, it's not cold. It's like baby bear perfection.
Yes. I love it.
And that is rare.
Yes.
In life. And it's like that, I think, is the biggest part of our dharma.
Yes. 100%.
Is that ability to be able to do, because once you do that,
then what?
Get to the end of the ride, right? Body goes. And like, well, okay, I've been there. I did that. Instead of the regret of, oh man, I wished I would have done that. Oh man.
Exactly.
And it's again, it's butthole surfers line. It's better to regret something you did do than something you didn't do.
Absolutely.
Because if you're regretting something you did do, there's sort of like you can compensate for that.
There's something, you got something for it for sure. Yeah. even if it hurt, you got something out of it. Yeah.
But I'm just
didn't do it. Yeah.
And it just the beauty.
Yeah.
The beauty. I get overwhelmed.
Yes.
But I love it. It's
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what this is about.
Yes.
And it's not just, me and my personal venture here. It's sort of like my contribution to humanity.
Yeah.
Oh, good. You appreciated that.
Exactly.
And this oh God, brain farts again. Just so many things. So different to go to and the appreciation of this. But man, I'm glad you're doing great. And have you, or do you want to get in touch with Dr. Mirzabehi? He's connected with a lot of these people.
I have to talk to him. I haven't talked to him in many years. But
I talk to him now and again. He's still struggling. He had to deal with his stuff. But he has helped a number of people. Janet was one. She got some cancer.
Yeah.
He knows these people. He may know this Hoffman.
Yeah.
And he's got those connections. So next time I talk to him, we're supposed to be soon here, I'll tell him to give you a call.
Absolutely. And that's really where I feel like I have a flag that I can help bring in this new paradigm. Mm-hmm. And it's
your dharma.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel anybody I talk to, like you say, at least you can plant the seed. And that's if that's all I can do. Yep. That's good. That's good.
Great. If not, it's not your responsibility. All you have to do, all of us, we just plant.
I can do my part. Yeah. And my part is share the knowledge, share my experience, share the love.
Part was not having expectations.
Right.
You got to let go of it. So, okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Maybe just show one more time here. This is special. Yeah. And then that's it.
Absolutely.
My dharma requires me to try once.
Yes.
So you tell somebody the story once. If you really care about it, or if you think of a different way to say it, you might try again, but then just let it go. Let it go.
And what it does is it gives you much more time to experience other things.
And to find those people who do have the first round for that seed.
Yes. And again, it's that action. You just keep going. You keep moving. You keep meeting. You keep talking. It's a flow. Yes, I'm right there with you. Well, Dan, I tell you, this has been an amazing conversation. I knew it would be. And there's always
we can do is if people are interested, if they got
Yeah.
questions, and let's do it again. This is
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Is there any parting shot you have for any seed you want to plant here?
No, not really. Life is good. I'm disillusioned with the whole cannabis industry
Oh
myself,
yeah.
watching the greed that's taken over.
Yeah.
Avoid that. Simple solutions to all of our problems. When you're
Yeah.
not distracted anymore, all right.
Yeah.
Well, we got this president that he likes to just, stroke of the pen.
Yeah.
Here's the stroke of the pen. You want to solve our problems? Limit personal wealth and holdings to $100 million.
There you go.
Period. And
Yeah.
then all of the rest of that, and I did the math on this, Joe.
Yeah.
I call it excess wealth in America. This is just America. This is not the world.
Yeah.
Just in America, the excess wealth that people have over $100 million equals about $35 trillion.
Whoa, geez.
What the debt?
I was going to say, that sounds like our debt level.
That's the debt. So
Yeah.
my mantra now is, hey, I think it's time to repossess the Lambo.
Yeah, I hear you. I can't.
Austerity. We need austerity at the top.
There you go. Yeah. I that's a great parting shot. Dan, it's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to talking with you again soon.
Likewise, Joe. Keep on the path, man.
All right. This has been the Healthy Living Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Grumbine, and we'll see you next time.
This has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. We produce this show so that people can share their stories, people that have overcome obstacles, people that are undergoing obstacles. We're building a community of health-minded individuals. If you're interested in supporting the show, please leave a review on the platform you're listening to it on. If you're interested in becoming a guest, please send an email to itsjoegrumbine@gmail.com, or you can send a note into the notes section of the podcast. All right. Well, thank you for supporting this show, and we hope you've enjoyed it.